Frequent river flooding is only one aspect. If you don't live and work along the river, that might not impact you. There's one job that can never change, and as meteorologist Morgan Strackbein shows us, there's work as part of the heart of our region.
The weather influences our plans, what we wear, how we drive, but not all of us have a job that is influenced by the weather. Farmers are some of the most dependent and knowledgeable observers of the changing atmospheric conditions.
It used to be a lot more livestock intensive.
Phil Four is a sixth-generation farmer in Taylor Ridge with nearly 30 years of experience.
We have these extremes. We have lack of moisture or way too much moisture in short periods of time. And I guess that's what we've seen a lot in the last 10 years, is more extremes than ever.
Right now, the way the weather is and that, I think we'll probably have an early spring.
About 20 miles south in New Windsor is Jeff Kerwin's family farm.
And that ground is powder dry, 4 feet down.
Jeff is a third-generation farmer with 30 years of experience and a shared opinion of those extremes.
I remember growing up, it was a big deal when we had a tornado go through and roll the combine up in a little ball. But I don't remember these severe rain events that we've seen, as of late.
A major obstacle was the spring of 2019 when the area received nearly 20 inches of rain.
That rain event of 19, the whole wet spring, and the complications that it brought to farmers. We had a lot of farmers in the area that didn't plant a crop that year, and almost 100% didn't plant a crop.
It just seems like that 100-year flood has came half a dozen times in the last 10 years.
Being resilient and ready to adapt have become essential strengths for farmers in the past 10 years. Year-round strategies like using cover crop have become routine.
If we're always growing something on our land 365 days a year, it's less prone to some of these other events.
Then there are other extremes that hurt a growing crop.
These short-term thunderstorms that bring incredible winds and incredible energy and multiple times in a growing season.
Stronger storms mean stronger winds, winds that their crop cannot withstand.
The last 4 or 5 years we've seen these strong wind events, and the derecho a few years ago.
The August 2020 derecho will be a day we all remember, but it was not an isolated event out here in these fields.
Even this past year, in this area, we saw more wind events that blew corn down than we did the year of the derecho.
And you notice there's certain fields and certain hybrids that they could take the 60-mile-an-hour wind, but the 90-mile-an-hour wind, it just didn't matter. It just leveled the whole field.
This makes harvesting a bigger task and takes more money out of their pockets.
It's very expensive, costly, because it wears our equipment out because we're running so much dirt through the machine to try and pick up what little bit of crop is left on the ground.
Crop insurance is just one tool to provide that extra support in case of a damaging wind event.
And a lot of farmers, including myself, have taken wind policies specifically on corn that pays you if you have these horrible wind events.
There will never be a perfect season for agriculture. Farmers know they need to adapt, mitigate, and learn along with the changing extremes.
You can't change the weather, but you try to study it, you try to watch it, you try to understand it.
And there's nothing we can do about it in agriculture. We just, do the best that we can and deal with it.
Yeah, farmers definitely get curveballs thrown at them every year, whether it comes to flooding or those wind events that you just talked about. Exporting their crop, that's got to be taking a hard hit too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have a lot of their soybeans and their corn get transported down the Mississippi River. And Phil even talked about how that the river, it's been so high, it has to shut down all that barge traffic. And then that just means all their transportations get to a halt. And already they have to combat the season that it's already closed. So that's just adding extra time for that transportation process.
All right, Morgan Strackbein, thank you very much on that.